I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Damon's face, too close, too calm, too confident. The feel of the wall cold against my back and his breath brushing my cheek replayed in my mind like a glitch I couldn't delete. It was ridiculous. It meant nothing. That's what I told myself as I dragged my tired body out of bed the next morning. Damon had cornered me as part of his stupid bet. He probably just wanted to make me squirm. That's what he always did. But still, when I walked into class and saw him already sitting there, leaning back in his chair like he owned the room, my heart tripped over itself. His eyes found mine instantly, and his grin spread slow and deliberate, like he knew exactly what was playing in my head. "Morning, servant," he said, tapping the desk beside him. "Sit." I glared at him. "I have my own seat." "You do," he agreed, "but you're sitting here today." He didn't look away until I sighed, grabbed my bag and dropped into the seat next to him. The smirk that curved his mouth told me he'd won round one. Again. The first few hours of the day were torture. Damon didn't even ask for outrageous things, he just kept making small demands. "Pass me your pen." "Open my bottle." "Answer that question, you know it better." He wasn't even trying to humiliate me this time. He was just keeping me near. Every command was simple, yet each one pulled me a little closer into his orbit, until I couldn't tell if I was annoyed or, God help me, starting to enjoy the attention. When lunch came, I made a break for it, only for him to hook his fingers into my sleeve and stop me. "Where are you going?" "Anywhere you aren't." He chuckled low and smooth. "Try again. You're sitting with me today." "I'm not your pet, Damon." He leaned in, voice dropping an octave. "No. You're just my bet." I opened my mouth to argue, but his friends had already waved us over, and before I knew it, I was sitting at their table, surrounded by laughter, noise, and Damon's gaze burning holes into the side of my face. "Hey, new guy," one of his friends, Luke I think, grinned at me. "Didn't think you'd last this long. Most people would have quit by now." I jabbed a fork into my food. "Trust me, I'm still considering it." Damon leaned his elbow on the table, head tilted slightly. "He's doing fine. Aren't you?" I turned to glare at him, ready to snap back, but he was smiling again. Not the smug, mocking grin from before, but something softer. Like he actually liked having me there. And that threw me off more than anything. After school it started raining. Of course it did. My luck had a sense of humor. I was about to sprint for the bus stop when Damon's voice came from behind me. "Hey, you'll get soaked." "I'll live," I said, pulling my bag closer. He stepped up beside me and without another word opened his umbrella, wide enough for two. "Get in," he said. I hesitated, staring at him. "You serious?" He shrugged, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "What, you think I'll melt if you walk next to me?" The rain was coming down harder now, so I sighed and stepped under the umbrella. Our shoulders brushed, and I tried not to think about how warm he felt or how the smell of his cologne mixed with the rain. We walked in silence for a while, our steps matching without meaning to. I could feel his gaze sometimes sliding to me from the corner of his eye, but I didn't look back. My heartbeat was loud enough as it was. When we reached the end of the street, I muttered, "You don't have to walk me home every day, you know." "I know," he said simply. "But I want to." That stopped me. "Why?" He looked at me for a moment, really looked. Then he smiled, softer this time, almost hesitant. "Maybe I like having someone around who doesn't treat me like I'm untouchable." For once I didn't have a comeback. Damon never talked like that. He was always the confident one, the one in control. But for a heartbeat I saw something else. A flicker of loneliness behind the arrogance. And damn it, that made my chest tighten. The next day the bet continued, but something had changed. Damon still teased me, still gave me small tasks, but it felt lighter. Almost like an excuse to talk, to keep me near. He'd nudge my shoulder when I zoned out, steal half my fries at lunch, and toss me his hoodie when I looked cold. I tried to act annoyed, but half the time I caught myself smiling. At one point we were sitting under a tree after class, waiting out another drizzle. Damon handed me a drink from his bag without looking up. "Here. You like peach, right?" I blinked. "You remembered?" He shrugged. "I pay attention." That was all he said, but it stuck with me. Later that afternoon, his friends started teasing him. "Man, you've gone soft," Luke joked. "Since when do you share drinks?" Damon just gave a lazy grin. "Since I found someone worth sharing with." I nearly choked on my sip. The table erupted in laughter, but Damon's eyes stayed locked on mine. That grin of his didn't falter. I kicked him lightly under the table. "You think you're funny?" "I know I am." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper only I could hear. Besides, you look cute when you're flustered. My breath hitched. You're impossible. He smirked. You like that about me. By the time classes ended, the tension between us was thick enough to touch. Every glance felt longer, every brush of his hand against mine felt deliberate. I didn't know when the teasing had stopped being annoying and started feeling like something else entirely. On the walk home, the air was heavy with that same quiet charge. We talked about random things, music, food, teachers, but underneath it, something unspoken hummed. As we reached the turn to my street, I slowed down. I didn't want to admit it, but I didn't want the day to end. He noticed. What's wrong? Nothing, I said quickly. Just thinking. About me? I scoffed, trying to play it off. In your dreams. He smiled that knowing smile again. You're not denying it. Before I could respond, he stepped closer. My breath caught. His voice was quiet, steady. Maybe this week isn't enough, he murmured. I frowned. What? His eyes didn't leave mine. Maybe I want more. The world seemed to still around us. The sound of distant traffic faded. It was just him, too close, too calm, too serious this time. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to push him away. The other part, the louder, reckless part, wanted to close that tiny space between us. He didn't move, just watched me like he was waiting for an answer I didn't know how to give. Then, with a faint smirk, he turned and started walking away, leaving me standing there in the middle of the street, my heart pounding in my throat. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Every word, every glance, every accidental touch played over and over in my head. Damon wasn't supposed to be complicated. He wasn't supposed to get under my skin. But somewhere between all the teasing and the dares, he had. And maybe, just maybe, I didn't want him to stop. If you enjoyed this steamy ride of love, power, and desire, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more hot BL stories that will leave your heart racing. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode.